Hi everyone, welcome to Destiny of Cards. I'm doing on behalf for Shenton for his China for the deck review for Jackknife Dragon. Okay. First we have the monsters. For Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm is actually the ace card for the deck itself. It allows you to earlier on in the game have Go Ritter on the field. With Go Ritter on the field in early game is actually a very pressure to your opponent. So the cost is actually paying 1 gauge and put this card on top of a Jackknife monster card. And also the main effect of this card is by paying 2 life, you can destroy a monster on your opponent's field. So actually you can spam this to reduce your life such that you'll reach actually 5 or less life points for you to equip Go Ritter. Next, we have obviously the core body of the whole deck for Jackknife Dragon itself. So its effect is pay 1 gauge. core is pay 1 gauge, but its effect is by paying 2 gauge, you can call a card with Jackknife from your deck on top of this card. Okay, but the card call upon this card, you don't need to pay the core cost of it because it's by the effect of this card. So you can just pay 2 gauge and call a Thunderstorm or any of the other Jackknife forms in the deck over this card. So yeah, so you need to play 4 copies of this. Next is another key card of the deck, which is Burn Energy, Jackknife Burn Energy, one of the good form of Jackknife. Okay, so this card cannot be called as a Centaur, so you must take note of this card. So this card, when you place on top of Jackknife monster, yeah, so that's the core cost. You can put 2 cards from the top of your deck into your gauge. So Jackknife is quite a heavy gauge deck, so this card really help you with the gauge, and there's no really much of paying gauge to call this card actually, so it's a free cost. You gain 2 gauge simply just by riding this on top of any of the Jackknives. Next, we have the other alternative body of the deck. If you do not have Jackknife Dragon, this is Jackknife Berserker. We play 3 copies of it. It's just a vanilla Jackknife, so it's just like a base. You can write over Jackknife Burn Energy over it, or Jackknife Thunderstorm over it. Yeah, by paying the core cost from this from the Thunderstorm, or just write over Burn Energy to gain 2 gauge over it. Next, we have the last size 3 monster, 1 Bystand. Yeah, Bystand allows you to retrieve any of the dragon shields from your drop zone into your hand. So it's good recycling mechanism, especially if, like you see, the core cost is quite heavy. You need to pay 2 gauge and put it on top of Jackknife monster. But do take note, you can use the effect of Jackknife Dragon, call it over it, and because Jackknife Dragon you only need to pay 2 gauge, so anyway this card is also need to pay 2 gauge. So just write over it and you gain a free dragon shield from the drop zone that you used earlier on in the game. So you will only run one copy of this card. So basically those are the Jackknife forms. Lastly, we have 4 copies of Boomerang Dragon. Okay, this card, because Go Ritter is treated like as though there's a size 3 on the field, so you can't actually call any size 1 to 3 monster on the field. So it's a good thing to have a Boomerang Dragon in your hand, and it's also like return back to your hand. So if you need to use something like discarding mechanism in the deck, like in future there's a new card called Damage Control from Neo Enforcer version E. Yeah, you just can discard this and reduce the damage for damage control. Okay, so these are all the monsters from the deck. Okay, so now we'll move on to the spells of the deck. First, we run 4 Jackknife Braveheart. Okay, this card is quite powerful because it allows you to pay, the cast cost is 2 gauge, but it allows you to search any Jackknife card from your deck to your hand. So you can search for maybe one of the Jackknife form that you might short of, or Jackknife Dragon itself, or you can even search for another Braveheart to filter your deck, or you can simply search for another card which I'm going to say later, which is Jackknife Gift. Okay, so this is quite a good filtering card despite of the heavy cost. Next, obviously, we will run the shields, which is 4 green dragon shields. Okay, the effect is just nullify the attack when you do not have a monster in the center and when your opponent is attacking and you gain 1 life, so you nullify the attack. Next shield that we will run is blue dragon shield. Okay, center must be open, or your center must be open, nullify the attack, but instead of gain 1 life, this one you just gain a card from the top of the deck to your gauge. So yeah, this helps a lot for Jackknife deck because it helps you gain gauge. Next shield that we run is Flying Dragon Shield. Yeah, this card, same, when you deal damage from an attack by paying 1 gauge, you reduce that damage to 0, so then you gain 1 life. Something like Chillax, but Chillax can deal damage, reduce damage, but this is only reduce damage from an attack. Why this card over Golden Dragon Shield? Because this card allows you to gain 1 life. Anyway, life is quite important because once you equip Gold Ritual, you actually reduce your life to like quite critical of 5 damage, and you're prompt to a lot of impact cards from your opponents, such as Gargantua Punisher. So actually gain life in this deck is quite crucial. So I chose this over Golden Dragon Shield. Yeah, so Flying Dragon Shield. Next, we'll run what I mentioned earlier on, Jackknife Gift. Yeah, this card have 2 ability. Okay, so the cost is by paying 1 gauge, I can choose one of the 2 effects. So one of the effects is choose a Jackknife card from the drop zone, put it into a soul of a Jackknife monster. So because you know the cast cost for Gold Ritual, you need like card. I will explain later. So this card actually help you for Gold Ritual summoning, or you can simply like add souls to your Jackknife forms so that they have more soul guards to stay on the field. The other effect is if you have a Jackknife equipped already on the field, you can just draw 1 card and gain 3 life. Yes, just like earlier on I mentioned, life is quite important in this deck. So this card helps you gain life back. So 3 life is quite a lot for this deck. It's a good card. Okay, last spells for the deck. Cavalry Academy. Okay, in case you all do not know, Gold Ritual is actually also a Dragon Knight card. So it's not a full armor dragon monster. So this card allow Gold Ritual to become 11k when you have this card on the field. 1 is 1000 each. So there's 4 copies. So maximum for Gold Ritual is 14,000 attack and defense. So the set cost is 1 gauge. So yeah, and there's another reason for playing this also. I will mention it later. Okay, so these are the spells of the deck. Okay, next we'll move on to the ace card, Gold Ritual itself. 4 copies of it. Okay, Gold Ritual, very simple. You need 5 life or less to equip this card, and the other requirement for equipping cost is you must have a Jackknife monster with 3 soul or more. That's why we need Jackknife Gift, for example, because it allows you to have more soul into your Jackknife forms. So that you must have 3 soul, and then after that you also need to pay 2 gauge. So it's 5 life, sacrifice a Jackknife form with 3 soul and 2 gauge. Okay, so the next effect is this card is treated as though there is a size 3 armor dragon on your field, but it's not a monster. Do take note, this card is not treated as a monster. It's still an item card. Okay, but there's a effect from here. This card cannot be destroyed or returned to hand. So you cannot, Magic World user, you cannot oops this card because it cannot be returned to hand. Okay, so it cannot be destroyed. So any destruction card, sorry, this card cannot be destroyed by any card effect. Okay, so any damage due to you by a link attack, because there's a 10,000 defense, so opponent must have a attack power of 10,000 equal or more to actually deal damage. So any link attack will actually reduce damage to 2. However, cards such as like Drum Bunker 10,000 is just a 10,000, so it clearly can attack him. So yeah, so meaning you deal the full critical of 10,000 to this card. Yeah. So any card that have actually 10,000 power already itself, you don't need a link attack, you'll do the full critical to it instead of reducing it to 2. So yeah, so there's some cards that you can counter Go Rito. Okay, so Go Rito itself have this penetrate. So anything that is in the middle, sorry, yeah, it can deal you 5 critical power. Yeah, so this card is quite ace in the deck. If you have it earlier on in the game, it's quite pressuring to opponent. Okay, next we'll move on to the final 2 cards, the impacts. Okay, here's Dragon Cavalry Arts Ultimate Smash. Okay, why I run this impact? Okay, simply you see the effect first we will explain. It's pay 4 gauge, which is the cast cost. Okay, the effect is if I don't have a monster in the center, since I'm equipping Go Rito, obviously I will not have a monster in the center, and I will have a Dragon Knight and a weapon on the field. Remember I mentioned earlier on, Cavalry and Go Rito is all what you need in the deck on the field. Okay, Cavalry is 1 Dragon Knight, Jackknife Go Rito is 1 Armor Knight, Dragon Knight, sorry. So there's 2 Dragon Knight on the field, and the next requirement is a weapon. Jackknife Go Rito is also a weapon. See, the attribute here is the attribute here written is Dragon Knight / weapon, so it's treated as both Dragon Knight and also a weapon. And Cavalry is the other Dragon Knight. So you just have these 2 cards, you can activate Ultimate Smash. Okay, so Ultimate Smash allow you to destroy all monsters and items on your opponent's field. Mean you clear his field and deal 3 damage to him. So imagine he got some 10,000 whacker already on the field. Yeah, and some equipment that actually deal 3 damage kind of thing. Yeah, so just simply destroy the card. Yeah, it's 3 damage. Someone you deal 3 damage, and do remember Go Rito just keep on doing 5 damage to your opponent. So 3 damage actually quite a lot in late game, especially when you keep pressuring your opponent with Go Rito. Okay, of course the body monster for this deck is not Jackknife itself, it's Boomerang, because it's the new card from the Golden Body Pack. Okay, some recommendation build that you can try on when you actually change to you purchase your Neo Enforcer. You can remove the Cavalry Academic to damage control. Okay, and you can actually change your impact card to maybe if you do like Gargantua Punisher, because you do not have another Dragon Knight already, so this card will not be useful if you change the card to damage control. And you can change this card to Roaring Slash Gargantua Punisher, but do take note heavy cost, or actually Gargantua Punisher, or maybe the new impact card from the Dormant Pack 100 promo pack. Yeah, that card is also pay 3 gauge, but you take discard 1 Armor Dragon, red Armor Dragon, sorry, yeah, red Dragon, sorry. Yeah, you just have to discard Red Dragon. So yeah, but the thing is that card can be, the damage can be reduced and the impact can be unified. So yeah, if you do want to have a secured damage dealt to your opponent, Gargantua Punisher is a good optional choice. Else you can try running the promo, because it's run 3 gauge, so it's quite less for gauge consuming. So yeah, that's all folks.